Hey Internet, Eric here again. Just want to say the usual stuff. Thank you for liking, subscribing, viewing, all that jazz. My video tonight is not a rant, it is not a movie review, and it is not one of my usual you hate it, I don't videos. My buddy Roger, who I have mentioned a bunch of times, talked about how, he's a cool guy, he's got his own YouTube channel, Channel Downstar. I'll put the link, in the description of this video. He was tagged in a video, and then he did his response, and then tagged me. So I was tagged to do a video, and it is called a coffee film tag. So the basic gist of this is there's different categories of different types of coffee. I'm a coffee drinker on occasion, just when I'm really dead-ass tired in the morning, and I drink coffee black, But there's different types of coffee categories, and those are different films that I have to choose. And choose a movie from, and just give a little brief synopsis of it, or synopsis of it, however you pronounce that word. Yeah, so here's my response to Roger's coffee tag. Category number 1 is black coffee, and that's how I drink it. Black coffee is a film you love, but it's not easy to get into. And the film I chose for that, because it is a film I love, it's a sci-fi classic, but it starts off real slow, and you have to put a lot of effort into it. John Carpenter's They Live. One of John Carpenter's films that not a lot of people think of when they think of John Carpenter films. It's usually under the radar, but it's a great film with Roddy Piper, who sadly, one of my favorites growing up watching wrestling and everything, sadly passed away this year. What's his name? Keith David, that you've seen in so many films. Meg Foster, directed by John Carpenter, like I said. Great little sci-fi film, but yeah, it starts off very slow, and you have to put a lot of effort into sitting down and getting through it, because the character development is very slow. The soundtrack, in my opinion, which Carpenter's always known for his great soundtracks, is very slow and plodding, so that doesn't help you get into the film. But the fact is, once it finally takes off, bam. You got so much, and the action is great. Piper, the fantastic fight scene between him and Keith David in the alleyway. The makeup effects on the aliens. They live. Next category is called Peppermint Coffee. A favorite Christmas/holiday movie. This was tough, because I'm not a big holiday movie guy. In the traditional sense, most of my, other than A Christmas Story, which I loved, but sadly because of fucking TBS or TNT with their, 24 hours of it, I've kind of gotten sick of it. I was more a fan of, the Garfield Christmas specials, the half-hour stuff, or Peanuts Christmas, Charlie Brown. And when it comes to movies, mine are very non-traditional, like Bad Santa, or I would have picked Santa's Sleigh, but Roger beat me to it, and I don't want to copy him. Lots of things that I don't consider authentic Christmas films. And this is this is a movie I've loved as a child, been obsessed with, seen it probably a million fucking times. And yes, it is a Christmas movie because they fucking kill Santa Claus and eat him on screen. Gremlins. There's just, directed by Joe Dante. I watched this film every Christmas. I mean, you can see, you got I have this little gizmo doll that I've had since I was a fucking kid. I love this movie to death. It is a fantastic, horror movie. Not so much the sequel. The sequel, I'll definitely give a review on this. You've all seen it. I'll give a review on it around Christmas time. So there really isn't much to say, but frightening moments, sweet moments, fantastic special effects, animatronics. You've all seen Gremlins. If you're one of the 2 people that haven't, make this a movie to watch on Christmas time. That's my favorite Christmas movie. Next category is hot chocolate. Favorite children's movie. Now this was also tough because what is really a Christmas movie, a children's movie? Is it a cartoon? Is it something that has to have musical numbers in it? So it's real tough because there are so many children's movies that adults love. Like is Shrek considered a children's movie because it's animated? So it's tough. So I just pretty much said, yeah, I could have picked anything. I could have picked like The Wizard of Oz, anything from Disney or Pixar. So I went the easy route. I went Disney and Pixar, and it was between 3 films. It was between Aladdin, it was between The Lion King, but if I was forced, gun to my head, Monsters Inc. Such a sweet, sweet film. My favorite, by far, Pixar film. The animation, top notch. I mean, every single character is memorable. Billy Crystal as Mike. You got John Goodman as Sully. They're. I don't know if they were in the room when they did their voiceovers, but what you call it? They have the chemistry that they have is fantastic. I mean, Jennifer Tilly as fucking Mike Wazowski's girlfriend, and then of course you got Randall, played by Steve Buscemi, who looks just like Steve Buscemi if he was a monster. And then of course, probably the cutest kid in Pixar history, you got Little Boo, who, yes, I'm probably a little, biased towards because my daughter looks just like her, and we call her Boo. But Monsters, Inc., fun for kids. Adults will love it. Haven't seen the prequel, sequel yet, but bar none. This I think is better than the Toy Story movies. Yeah, Monsters, Inc., go check that out. If you haven't, and I'd be very surprised if you haven't. Double Espresso is the next category. A movie that held your interest for the whole movie. And I said this for the last 2 movies. This was tough. So I cheated. And I picked 2. Because going through my collection, I wanted to do this, make this video having movies that I actually had on hand. And there were 2 movies that I had on hand that are perfect for this category, and there's no way in hell that I could choose between the 2 of them. They're so different, but they're so good, and I have to give both of them props. My first choice for this is in the top 2 movies of my favorite of all time. The first one being The Crow. The second one, which is the first movie I'm choosing for Double Espresso, movie that has held my interest for the whole movie, is Seven. Fantastic movie from beginning to end. Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Gwyneth Paltrow, Kevin Spacey, R. Lee Ermey. Fuck, everything about this is fantastic. It drags you in from the opening fucking sequence and credits. Oh my god. There's so much of this movie that has been spoiled because of the ending. It's been parodied so many times. But it drags you in from the very beginning. It's a fantastic whodunit cop drama. The opening sequence, like I said, the opening sequence to the end, there's not much I can talk about this movie. I'm keeping this short since this isn't really a movie review video. Bar none, one of the best ever filmed movies I've ever seen. Characters are so engaging. You're at the edge of your seat when they're trying to find out who the killer is. Yeah, great movie. My second movie for this category, I've only seen a handful of times, and every single time I sit there, I hit play on my DVD player and I watch it all. And there's no way, I don't get up for drinks, I don't get up to go to the bathroom, I don't do none of that stuff. Because from the opening credits, from the opening credits and the soundtrack that they throw in to when you're introduced to the character, and it's such a wonderful underdog character, it's The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. Also has Marissa Tomei and Evan Rachel Wood and a shit ton of, pro wrestlers, directed by Darren Aronofsky, who I believe does another film. Yes, he's another film that's in my categories. But yeah, I was never a big Mickey Rourke fan, only because I hadn't seen a lot of his work. I had only seen a couple movies, like, guilty pleasures, like, Harley Davidson, The Marlboro Man, stuff like that. I was really introduced to Mickey Rourke in Sin City, and loved him in that. And then this came out, and I'm a huge pro wrestling fan. Huge, have been since I was a kid. So, of course, I'm going to see this movie. And Mickey Rourke is basically, he's a washed-up wrestler from the 80s, and it's him trying to live the normal, a normal everyday life, but also trying to hold on to that past glory. And he meets up with a stripper played by Marissa Tomei, and we meet his estranged daughter, who is Evan Rachel Wood. And you're watching this movie, and you're falling in love, and you see how sympathetic Mickey Rourke's character is, Randy Robinson, Randy the Ram. But he's got his flaws and everything, and you're wondering, how the relationships with him and the stripper wouldn't be girlfriend and his daughter, and it's just so engaging and such a great film. Can't praise it enough. Now we have Starbucks, a movie you've watched more than any. I am a huge movie buff, and this one is probably the hardest one for me to pick, because there are movies that I just throw in, and I sit down and I'll watch, whether it's on TV, whether it's on DVD. Me and my wife are like, what the fuck, we haven't seen this movie in like a month, let's throw it on. And there were so many movies in the running for this. Ghostbusters, I was born in 81. I started being obsessed with movies since I was probably 6 or 7. But it could have been anything. Could have been Goonies, could have been Ghostbusters. Shit. Ninja Turtles, the original live action movie. But when I got down to it, I looked at my category, or my collection, and my wife's collection. There's no doubt that the movie I've watched more than any, and I still do to this day, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Yeah. There's not much to say about this, that, no one's, not known. It's Harrison Ford's most popular character other than Han Solo. I personally like Indiana Jones more than Han Solo. I think he's just Harrison Ford is so great as Indiana Jones. He's this badass archaeologist. He's got, so much, in the realm. He's basically James Bond with a whip, And this movie is so much fun. Me and my wife are basically in the minority. Other than the new one with the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, people like this one the least, and I don't understand that. Maybe it's because it's so fucking dark, and that's probably why I like it the most. It's so dark. And Kate Capshaw as Willie Scott, the female lead. She's pretty fucking annoying. She is a step down from Karen Allen in the first one, but I've seen this so many times. I can quote it so many times. I know all the inside stuff, like how in the nightclub is called Club Obi-Wan, which is, inside joke with George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. I know, I always notice the Dan Aykroyd cameo. Great movie. Still love it. And me and my wife, every now and then, we'll go on, we'll have what we call an Indiana Jones marathon, and we always, hurry up, Raiders of the Lost Ark, get over so we can watch fucking Temple of Doom. Now we have HIPSTER COFFEE SHOP. My buddy Jamie could probably like this, you fucking hipster. Give an indie or foreign film a shout out. I'm not big on indie films. And it takes me a while to get into foreign films. Unless there's, honestly, it's just tough for me to watch subtitles. Unless there's, the English dub. And I was thinking to myself, I could go the easy route, pick a foreign film, and just go, hey, I'll pick Shaun of the Dead because it's, it's British. But I looked at my collection and I saw right next to it an even better movie. Is it Chinese? Okay. Shaolin Soccer with Stephen Chow. I rented this movie sight unseen. I saw the trailer. I saw this movie. It looks fantastic. Well, I thought to myself it could either be fantastic or a pile of shit, and it was in the fantastic category. Stephen Chow is a Shaolin monk, kung fu, student, and his kicking power catches the eye of a soccer coach, and then they assemble a soccer team of all of Stephen Chow's buddies that he was in he trained with, as Shaolin monks, and they go on a soccer tournament. But it's so tongue-in-cheek, it's so over the top. I mean, and it's so comedic, because just out of nowhere there'll be a dance sequence thrown in there. The over the topness of the fight scenes and they'll be kicking the soccer balls 100 feet, and it'll hit the opponent, and he'll fly 100 feet and stuff like that. God, it's one of the most fun I've had watching a movie in a long time. And check this out, and if you enjoy this, also check out Stephen Chow's Kung Fu Hustle. Not as good as Shaolin Soccer, but it's still a hell of a lot of fun. We have the next category. Oops, we got Decaf. A movie that disappointed you. And at first I was going to pick Halloween 5. Because that movie, I'm a huge Halloween fan, and that movie didn't just disappoint me, but it just turned out to be just a big pile of shit. But then I realized, I can't pick that because it's not just a movie that disappointed me, it's a movie that I hated. And the thing is, it didn't really disappoint me because I had seen it as a young kid, and I saw it before I saw Halloween 4, and I wasn't a big Halloween fan at the time, so it's not like it disappointed me because the ones before it were so good at the time that I saw it. However, this film, the first movie was fantastic, second movie was fantastic, maybe even better than the first. So I'm like, this movie, it's supposedly the end of the trilogy, and it ended up being the worst of the trilogy, and there's just so much wrong with it. Fuck you, Scream 3. Such a horrible follow-up, in my opinion, to two great whodunit slasher films. By the third movie, the tongue-in-cheek references are lame. They've gotten so overused. Fucking David Arquette is Deputy Dewey. I've hated him since the first movie. I hated him in the fucking second movie. He's god-awful in this, and he's in the fucking fourth movie. And he's probably the worst character in a horror movie I've ever known. Since fucking Tina from Halloween 5. At least they were smart enough to fucking kill her. Fucking Dewdrop lives through all goddamn 4 movies. And then what do? You also have to throw in everybody's favorite annoying person, Parker Posey. And she is nothing just but an annoying piece of shit. She's like the same character she plays in fucking Dazed and Confused. For some reason, they have a fucking Jay and Silent Bob fucking cameo playing Jay and Silent Bob. Because why? Because, what was it? Dimension Films. Hey, we're making Jay and Silent Bob strike back at the same time. You want to be in our movie since you put Wes Craven in yours? Fucking retarded. Lance Henriksen is wasted, in this role. By the time they reveal who the fucking killer is, no one cares, and it's so retarded, and yeah. This movie was crap. I would wipe my ass with it if it was toilet paper. Such a horrible follow-up to 2 fantastic movies. Fuck this movie. So yeah, that's what Decaf is to me. Next category. Perfect blend. A bittersweet mix that seems perfect. And you get that with this movie. I'm a huge Stephen King fan. And at first I didn't know what Bittersweet would be like. I didn't know a movie I could pick with this because I didn't really understand the category too much. So, excuse me, I went online and I just literally typed in Bittersweet movies, and this was on the list. I'm like, holy shit, that does belong there now that I understand. Huge Stephen King fan in general. I have all of his fucking books. And he's a great, great horror writer, but what a lot of people don't realize is because they never promote his dramas as based on Stephen King, this is like the perfect movie. And it's The Green Mile. Yeah, I could have, people probably wonder, well, why didn't you pick Shawshank? Shawshank is fantastic, but Bittersweet means it just leaves such a sad taste in your mouth afterward because, in the end, this isn't such a happy, happy film, but it's fantastic. The characters are so well done. The acting, the design, the tone of the film. Michael Clarke Duncan. I think this was like his second movie because I know he was in Armageddon. He deserved that Academy Award nomination. So lovable, so powerful. Tom Hanks, again, at his best. You have Sam Rockwell. Yes, Sam Rockwell as I don't know if he's called Billy the Kid or Wild Bill, but as the fucking one of the inmates in this. Holy shit. It's still, I think, Sam Rockwell's best performance. And what a fucking piece of shit he is in this movie, but he's likable. Well, not likable, but he's memorable. I mean, goddamn. Me and my wife watch this movie every time it's on television, and it is the perfect movie, but Bittersweet because of the ending, which I will not spoil if you haven't seen it, but seriously, fantastic movie. 2 categories left. I have Coffee with Your Sugar. Movie that you might love a little too much. And this is definitely a movie I probably love a little too much. It is not a good movie by far. It is definitely going to be in my categories of You Hate It, I Don't, where I defend it. Because, basically I'm the only one who likes it. But I've loved it since I was a kid. Probably more for the nostalgia fact. And it's so bad it's good. I've probably seen this almost as much as I've seen Temple of Doom. We got Super Mario Brothers, starring Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, a British man and a Latino playing 2 Italian plumbers, and Dennis Hopper as King Koopa. Yeah, so bad it's good. There's not much to say about this. I'll explain more in my video that I'll do, but it is nothing like the video game. It is so bad it's good. It's so much fun though. God. Yeah, it's just a fun bad movie. And I've seen this so much. Did I say how much I watched it? But yeah, I just fucking love Bob Hoskins in anything he's in. Dennis Hopper's there for a paycheck, which he did a lot in his career. But you got, Samantha Mathis. Had a crush on her for years. The animatronics on the Yoshi dinosaur for 93? Something like that. Pretty damn good. Came out the same year as Jurassic Park. I wonder why this one didn't make any money. Anyways, yeah, I'll explain more on my video, but yeah, I love this movie so much, and I probably shouldn't. But yeah, I agree with the Washington Post saying it's a blast. Check it out. So bad it's good. Last category. Friends Don't Let Friends Have Starbucks. A movie you tell others to avoid. This is the other, what's his name? Darren Aronofsky movie that I mentioned when I mentioned he directed The Wrestler. And, yeah. I'm not telling people to avoid this movie because it's not a good movie. It is fantastically shot, brilliantly acted. The score by Clint Mansell, oh my fucking god, is fantastic. But it is not a movie for everyone. You have to be in the right mood. It is not a happy movie. It is Requiem for a Dream. Yeah, you have to be in the right frame of mind to watch this movie. But you have fantastic performances by everyone. You have Ellen Burstyn, you got Jennifer Connelly, you got Jared Leto, and who the fuck knew that Marlon Wayans could act if he could get away from those goddamn Wayans brothers movies, you know? Quit doing White Chicks 4 or whatever the fuck it is, and go to drama, dude. His performance is so powerful in this, and it's fantastic. Yeah, this was Darren Aronofsky's second film, I guess. It said he was the director of Pi, which I haven't seen, but heard it was great. Yeah. Basically, it's a story of addiction. Being addicted to heroin, being addicted to diet pills, being addicted to fitting into the world, and it does not end happy. Sorry, spoilers for anyone. But seriously, I can't praise this movie anymore for the acting. Everyone is top notch, fantastic. I believe, yeah, Ellen Burstyn, did she win an Academy Award for this, or she was nominated? I can't see, but still, everyone deserves praise in this movie. But yeah, you have to be in the right frame of mind. Don't go if you're in a bad mood already. Don't pop this in because you're gonna want to fucking kill yourself by the end of this movie, or say, "Wow, my life could be worse. I could be Jared Leto." But okay, there's the end of my coffee film tag movie. Holy shit! I didn't think I'd be talking for 26 minutes. So thank you, Roger. I'm sorry it took so long to respond. It's been about a week and a half, but I liked doing this. This was actually fun. It gave me... I wanted to put a lot of thought into this. I just didn't want to be like, oh, I'll just pick this, pick that, pick this. Because I wanted to put a lot of thought on this, because some of these I didn't even think of until a week or two, or a day or two ago, because they were much better than my previous choices. So, thank you for watching. Hope you liked this video. Thank you for subscribing. I will put my buddy Roger's link down here so you can check out his page. Tell him Eric sent you. Big shout out to him. He's got a great page. I'm not going to tag anybody in this video because basically the only people, most of 90% of my subscribers don't have videos of their own or channels of their own that they do videos for. And the only other people probably won't do it, so I'm not going to tag them. But again, this was a fun thing to do. So thank you for watching. Cheers, and fuck you, David Arquette. Have a nice night.